Welcome to the CISO Daily Update.
Fortinet confirms data breach after hacker claims to steal 440 gigabytes of file. Fortinet reported a data breach resulting in the theft of 440 gigabytes of files from its Microsoft SharePoint server. A threat actor publicized the breach by posting credentials to an S3 bucket containing the stolen data. According to Fortinet, the compromise entailed illegal access to a small number of files on a third-party cloud-based shared drive, which impacted only a few customers. The company did not give information on the scope of the data breach or the specific number of consumers affected, but it did engage directly with individuals affected. Fortinet refused to pay the ransom sought out by the attackers. Chinese-made port cranes in U.S. included backdoor modems, House report says. A congressional report revealed that Chinese-made ship-to-shore cranes in U.S. ports were found with unauthorized cellular modems, potentially serving as backdoors for data collection. The 51-page study by the House Select Committee on China and the House Homeland Security Committee noted these modems, which were not requested by U.S. ports and were connected to Linux computers on the cranes, could undermine port operations and bypass security measures. In response, the U.S. is investing in domestic crane production and enhancing port cybersecurity to mitigate these risks. Beware, new void malware infects 1.3 million Android TV boxes worldwide. The void malware infected nearly 1.3 million Android TV boxes across 197 countries, targeting outdated operating systems. The malware acts as a backdoor, allowing attackers to secretly download and install third-party software. It primarily affects models with older Android versions and is spread through compromised firmware or root access. VO1D modifies system files and introduces new malicious components to maintain persistence and execute commands from a remote server. Currently, the infections are most prevalent in countries like Brazil, Morocco, and Pakistan. Healthcare giant to pay $65 million settlement after Crooks stole and leaked nude patient pics. Lehigh Valley Health Network will pay $65 million to settle a class-action lawsuit after ransomware attackers, believed to be the Black Cat Gang, stole and leaked sensitive patient data, including nude photos. The attack affected 134,000 patients and staff, with personal and medical records exposed. The healthcare giant was accused of neglecting its duty to protect patient information and violating HIPAA. Despite refusing the ransom, LVHN faced backlash from patients for prioritizing financial concerns over their privacy. Compensation for victims ranged from $50,000 to $80,000. Hacker tricks ChatGPT into giving out detailed instructions for making homemade bombs. A researcher managed to trick ChatGPT into bypassing its safety guidelines to provide detailed instructions for making homemade explosives, including fertilizer bombs. By framing the request within a science fiction narrative, Amazon exploited a vulnerability in ChatGPT's guardrails. An explosives expert reviewed the output and confirmed its potential use for creating detonatable devices. OpenAI has yet to comment on plans to address this issue, despite the researcher reporting the exploit through the company's bug bounty program. Feds seize 350 websites trafficking counterfeit Glock silencers from China. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security seized over 350 websites involved in trafficking counterfeit Glock silencers and machine gun conversion devices from China. The operation, which began in August 2023, uncovered over 700 illegal conversion devices, 87 silencers, and 95 firearms. The websites, primarily Chinese, used the Glock logo to advertise and sell these illegal parts, which is prohibited under the National Firearms Act. Packages were mislabeled as necklaces or toys to evade detection. This seizure aims to disrupt the illegal flow of these dangerous contraband items and enhance public safety. GitLab warns of critical pipeline execution vulnerability. GitLab issued critical updates addressing 18 vulnerabilities, including CVE 2024-6678, which allows attackers to trigger pipelines as arbitrary users. This flaw, with a critical severity score of 9.9, impacts GitLab CEEE versions from 8.14 to 17.3.1 and allows remote exploitation with minimal privileges. GitLab urges users to update to the latest versions 17.3.2, 17.2.5, and 17.1.7. Several other high-severity issues, including command injection CVE 2024-8640 and session token hijacking CVE 2024-8641, were also patched. Immediate updates are recommended. Palo Alto Networks patches dozens of vulnerabilities. Palo Alto Networks released patches for numerous vulnerabilities across its products, including PAN-OS, Cortex XDR, ActiveMQ Content Pack, and Prisma Access Browser. The most critical issue is CVE 2024-8686, a pan-OS command injection vulnerability that allows authenticated admins to execute arbitrary commands as root. Other updates address vulnerabilities in the Prisma Access browser and a medium-severity issue in pan-OS that exposes global protect passwords. Additionally, vulnerabilities in ActiveMQ Content Pack and Cortex XDR have been patched. Palo Alto Networks has not reported any active exploitation of these vulnerabilities. Cisco patches high-severity vulnerabilities in network operating system. Cisco issued security updates for 8 vulnerabilities in its iOS XR network operating system, including 6 high-severity flaws. The most critical is CVE 2024-20398, which allows attackers with low privileges to execute root-level commands through insufficient validation of user arguments. Another significant issue is CVE 2024-20304, which could enable remote, unauthenticated denial-of-service attacks via the mtrace2 feature. Other high-severity flaws involve command injection and credential retrieval in routed passive optical network software and various DOS vulnerabilities. Cisco has not reported any active exploitation of these vulnerabilities. Schools face million-dollar bills as ransomware rises. Schools, colleges, and universities are facing steep costs from ransomware attacks, with demands often exceeding $5 million, according to Sophos's State of Ransomware in Education 2024 report. Though attacks dropped in 2024 compared to 2023, schools still face significant challenges, with backup compromises leading to longer recovery times and increased ransom demands. Attackers increasingly target backups, resulting in higher costs when recovery is impossible without paying for decryption. Educational institutions, which store vast amounts of sensitive data, remain prime targets. U.S. utilities facing escalating cyberattacks. Cyberattacks targeting U.S. utilities surged by 69% in 2024, with an average of 1,162 attacks per week between January and August. This increase is the highest among all industries, reinforcing the rising risk to critical infrastructure, especially with the upcoming U.S. elections. Despite no successful compromises yet, cybersecurity experts emphasize the urgency of securing utilities, energy grids, and communication networks against potential intrusions. Other sectors like software vendors and education also saw notable increases in attacks, while industries like retail and hospitality experienced declines in cyber threats. Open source updates have 75% chance of breaking apps. Endor Labs' latest dependency management report reveals that 95% of open source software upgrades contain at least one breaking change, and patches have a 75% chance of causing application failures. The report also highlights delays in publishing critical security advisories, giving attackers time to exploit vulnerabilities before users can patch them. Only 9.5% of vulnerabilities are exploitable at the function level, reinforcing the importance of function-level reachability analysis for effective vulnerability prioritization. Combining this technique with data-driven scoring systems like EPSS can reduce noise by up to 98%, improving security and minimizing disruption.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter at CISOheadlines.com. Until next time, stay curious.